Okay, welcome to Nillumbik Shire Council's council meeting tonight. I'd like to do a welcome of members of the public are advised that the meeting will be live streamed and recorded. And the live stream recording will be made publicly available on YouTube and Council's website. Item 2 is the acknowledgement of country. Nillumbik Shire Council respectfully acknowledges and recognises the Wurundjeri Wurrung as the traditional owner of the land on which Nillumbik is located. We pay tribute to all First Peoples living in the Nillumbik Shire, give respect to elders past, present and emerging, and extend our respect to all First Peoples. We acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded. Item 3 is a good governance pledge by Councillor Joy.
Thank you, Mayor. As councillors, we are mindful of our civic responsibilities and obligations. We pledge to take them seriously and carry them out with diligence and integrity. We know the decisions we take will affect the people and environment of Nillumbik now and in the future. We undertake, therefore, to make sound and principled decisions of lasting value in a spirit of fairness and for the good of all. We also pledge to serve the needs and well-being of the community and the environment in an open and honest manner and to the best of our abilities.
Thank you. Item 4 is the prayer, and I'd like to welcome Sam Scott, pastor of Hurstbridge Christian Fellowship. Hello.
Thank you very much indeed. Thanks to the council for this privilege and joy to come and pray for you this month of February. Let's pray. Dear Lord Jesus Christ, we come to you this evening and we thank you for all the wonderful things that you've showered upon us, quite literally, in this shire. We thank you that your word says that every good and perfect gift comes down from the Father of heavenly lights, who does not change like shifting shadows. We thank you for preserving the shire up until this point in this very difficult fire season that we've almost gone through. And we do pray that you will continue to preserve property and above all life during the next weeks and months, if it should last. We thank you, Lord, for every single man, every single woman who has served to protect us, whether it's a CFA, policemen, policewomen, ambulance staff, SES, medical practitioners. We thank you for them all and for their dedication to their work. We pray for strength and health for them to continue to do that. We pray for everyone in this meeting tonight, all in attendance, whether public or staff or council. And we ask that you will give them all the strength, all the wisdom and insight they need for the sometimes difficult decisions that they have to make. Give them grace and patience with each other as they discuss things that are dear to them. We pray, Lord, for everybody in this shire who's doing it tough right now, whether it's through homelessness or loneliness or age or brokenness or financial difficulties. We pray for them that you will gather around them all the people that they need, whether they're private people or governmental or council people. And we thank you that the council does work in that area diligently. I want to commit this meeting into your hands, Lord, for your blessing and a really good outcome. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor. We appreciate you coming tonight. Thank you. Item 5 is apologies and leave of absence. Councillor John Demarick has requested a leave of absence tonight. Do I have a mover for that motion, please? Councillor Cope?
Make a motion to accept that request.
Thank you, Councillor Cope. Do I have a seconder?
Yes, I second that.
Thank you, Councillor Brooker. Councillor Cope, would you like to speak on that? No? Councillor Brooker? Any other councillors like to speak? I'll put this motion to a vote. All in favour? Passed unanimously. Item 6, declarations of conflict of interest. Do we have any conflicts tonight? No. Next, I'll move on to a few condolences that we have from members of the community that have passed recently. First of all, I'd like to speak about Pat Core. We are deeply saddened to hear of the passing of former Nillumbik resident Pat Core. Pat, along with his late wife Gail, were loyal and dedicated members of the Arthurs Creek and Strathewen Rural Fire Brigade for over 46 years. He contributed to the brigade as an active firefighter and held many roles within the brigade. He was also ready to assist in any task and was a valued member of the VFBV District 14 Council for many years. Since moving to Arthurs Creek in the 1970s, Pat contributed significantly to the community, including editing the Arthurs Creek Community Newsletter for nearly 40 years and helping establish the Arthurs Creek Community Centre. Pat and Gail were founding members of the Arthurs Creek and District Landcare Group in 1933. He stepped off the committee in 2013 but remained an active member of the group. Pat helped organise annual community events such as Clean Up Australia Day and Planet Ark Planting Day with Arthurs Creek Primary School at Riders Flat Reserve. Pat and Gail also founded the Cottlesbridge Landcare Group in 1997, where they conducted many working bees along the Diamond Creek at Cottlesbridge. They were also active members of Strathewen Landcare and contributed to the Nillumbik Landcare Network. Pat served on several council and state environmental steering committees and reference groups, contributing valuable input to a range of council environmental projects. Pat will be sorely missed by all who knew him, and on behalf of Nillumbik Shire Council, we pass on our condolences to Pat's family and friends. Next, I'd like to do a condolence for Alex King. We are deeply saddened to hear of the passing of Nillumbik resident Alex King at 90 years of age. Alex arrived in Panton Hill in 1964 after fleeing war-torn Slovenia. He and his wife Aurora worked in partnership with his parents in a local poultry business for 50 years, which they had to rebuild after the devastating 1969 fires that decimated Panton Hill. Alex became involved in the school, football and cricket clubs and the broader community of Panton Hill after the arrival of their 3 children. His service as president, vice president and treasurer across both football and cricket clubs stands as a testament to his dedication. Few have been honoured with life membership of both clubs, an achievement that speaks to the impact he made over generations. Remembered as kind and always ready for a chat, Alex's passing generated an outpour of reminiscences and praise. He was not just part of 2 clubs, but the whole town. He was loved by many generations in Panton Hill. Alex helped give full meaning to the sense of community. He always wanted his community and sporting teams to be a full reflection of how welcoming, supportive and beneficial such organisations can be for those who are part of that world. A quote from his memorial service best sums up his life in Panton Hill. He spent his 90 years investing in all those around him, especially at the footy club and cricket club. For that investment, he will always be remembered. On behalf of Nillumbik Shire Council, we pass on our condolences to Alex's family and friends. Now we'd like to congratulate Greg Shaw for receiving the Paul Harris Fellow honoree. The Rotary Club of Eltham has proudly recognised Greg Shaw as a Paul Harris Fellow, an honour reserved for individuals who demonstrate exceptional service, leadership and care for their community. Named after Rotary's founder, this recognition reflects the values of service above self. Greg's 38 years of dedicated service in council operations have made him a trusted and generous presence in our community, a true embodiment of the Rotary spirit. Congratulations, Greg, on this outstanding achievement. And lastly, we'd like to recognise Australia Day 2026 Honours List. It was great yet again to see a member of our community being recognised for their achievements in the recent Governor-General's Australia Day Honours List, and tonight I would like to acknowledge them and their achievements. Nillumbik resident Nectarius Parisis was awarded the Australian Police Medal for distinguished service as a member of an Australian police force. I would like to commend Nick for his dedication, service and achievement of excellence. He embodies the Nillumbik ethos of service, diligence, commitment and above all, serving the broader community. Thank you. Item 8 is a confirmation of minutes. Confirmation of the minutes of the council meeting held on Tuesday the 9th of December. Do I have a mover and seconder to confirm the minutes, please?
May I recommend that the council confirms the minutes of the council meeting Tuesday 9th of December per attachment 1.
Thank you, Councillor Cope. Do I have a seconder?
I can second that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. What was that? Oh. I'll now put this motion to a vote. All... Oh, would you like to speak on...
No.
No? Councillor McKay? No, thank you. Okay. Councillor Perkins, would you like to speak on it?
Yeah,
Sorry.
absolutely. Thank you,
Okay.
thank you very much for the opportunity. Yeah, look, I want to just draw councillors and the gallery's attention to the Inclusion Access Advisory Committee minutes. Very good minutes put together by Julianne Gretsch. She's a business and program support officer for council, and you know, very concise minutes. We're well supported there at that meeting by almost all the committee, but also importantly, Narelle Hart, Angela Lampard, a new disability inclusion officer in Nazish Khan, and also the first time I've met Kate, but Kate Jewell. Kate Jewell's the coordinator of strategic planning. Now, I'll just draw people's attention to the
Can
minutes.
I call a point of order? Sorry. I think you might want to speak to the next item, which is the advisory committee minutes.
Oh, that's where
Is that all right?
I've made a
Apologies.
mistake.
That's
I'm
right.
sorry.
That's okay. These are the general
So-
minutes of last meeting.
Well, there you go. Sorry about that.
Sorry, did want to let
Yeah.
you...
So I won't repeat what I said. Thank you very much. Yep. Yeah, wrong item.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Perkins. Moving on, there are no... Oh, let's put the motion to a vote of the confirmation of the minutes of the 9th of December. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. Item 9, petitions, and we've received no petitions tonight. Moving on to item 10, questions from the gallery. We have received questions from one resident, and I'll just read them out. Question 1, is the Nillumbik Shire... The question is from Julie Bradley. Question 1 is the Nillumbik Shire Council has provided information regarding why Challenger Street Reserve is the proposed site for the BMX jumps and recreation park. However, no details have been released on why the area at and surrounding the skate park on Elizabeth Street was not considered for the new park. There are existing jumps at this site and it is adjacent to the Nillumbik Youth Hub and Diamond Creek Station. Why is the skate park at Elizabeth not a suitable location? The response is Council's further assessment of alternative sites in 2025 was based on the following criteria. 1, located within Diamond Creek. 2, close proximity to the original informal BMX jump site. 3, located outside the 1 in 100-year floodplain as determined by Melbourne Water, recognising relevant heritage and planning overlays. 4, located outside the 200-metre buffer from Diamond Creek. thereby avoiding areas of cultural heritage sensitivity and removing the need for a cultural heritage management plan, CHMP. The skate park site on Elizabeth Street does not meet 2 of these 4 criteria. Specifically, it is located within the 1 in 100-year floodplain and within the 200-metre buffer from Diamond Creek. As a result, it was not included in the further assessment undertaken by Council in 2025. Julie's second question is, if the BMX Jumps and Recreation Park proceeds at Challenger Street Reserve, an area covered by an ESO 1, which acknowledges the valuable and delicate environment at this site, what will be the schedule for the removal of rubbish and the cleaning of toilets and other facilities to ensure the area isn't further disrupted and destroyed? The response to that is cleaning of all new toilet facilities is undertaken daily, 7 days a week. Council officers monitor usage patterns and cleaner feedback and adjust cleaning frequency as required. Standard waste collection occurs twice weekly on nominated days, with the schedule adjusted if necessary, based on demand. Collection of dumped rubbish is carried out on an as-needed basis, and members of the community can report issues online or by calling 9433 3111. We'll move on to item 11, which is the reports of advisory committees. Do I have a mover for this item? Councillor Cope? Great, thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Perkins? Councillor Cope, would you like to speak?
May I make the recommendation that the council received in the notes of the financial report?
Point of order there, advisory
It's the wrong
committees, this one.
Can I please make the motion that the recommendation that the council notes the minutes of the advisory committee meeting reported on per attachment 1, please?
Thank you. Councillor Perkins, would you like to speak?
All right, I'll take it up from where I left, and I think I was congratulating officers in particular for their minute taking and their attendance and good work in inclusion and access and the running of this committee. And we had, importantly, someone who I hadn't met before, Kate Jewell, who's the coordinator of strategic planning. She attended and she gave us a presentation on what used to be called Dependent Persons Unit, and we wanted to be briefed on the changes that have come in recently in terms of a small second dwelling. So it was a really good presentation. I encourage everyone to read dot point 7 in the minutes. Went through a lot of the issues, some lived experiences that committee members had as a result of the small second dwelling regulations coming in. They talked about the upgrade of systems, septic, and the cost for involved potentially only adding 1 toilet, miscommunication, contradictory concerns between client builder and the planning officer. There are issues around clarity, consideration of human rights pertaining to persons with disability in the planning and building process, the need for a small second dwelling to cater for an overnight carer. There's a limit that it can only be 60 square metres, but if you need a carer, there's not enough room really to have a second bedroom. The need for empathy and their understanding throughout the planning and building processes from planning officers, and need to support them not only from the planning team but also the environmental and disability inclusion teams during the planning process. Basically, the first time I've been on council in 15 years that the committee then moved a motion and it was unanimously supported, and that motion was to council to investigate and report back to the Inclusion Access Advisory Committee our unanimous recommendation to provide a disability concierge system for new planning applications and inquiries in a similar way a business concierge is currently provided to support planning applications or inquiries for the business community. So that was a great motion the committee put together. Very keen on that. We couldn't really see why there's so much support out there for someone starting a small business where somebody who has a disability wanted to move into a small second dwelling. There wasn't a concierge service or like support. That motion went through and was acted on very quickly by our officers, by the Inclusion Access team, and also by the planners, and they immediately enacted that concierge service. Now, I'll get a briefing and some more information in the next meeting on Friday, but it was a really good result, so I was very, very happy to be involved in that process, and just congratulate officers for turning that round so quickly. It was a fantastic result, and it makes attending this and every other advisory committee meetings over many, many years, where you often don't feel you've made much of a difference. This certainly did make all the difference, so thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Perkins. Would any other councillors like to speak? Councillor McKay?
Yes, thank you. I would like to speak and just talk about the Environmental Sustainability Advisory Committee. We had a great meeting discussing our integrated transport strategy and the challenges that our Shire has, being very car-centric, and issues around roads, biodiversity, and also things like a wildlife strike. And we presented to the committee an update on the urban tree canopy strategy and how our progress against our indicators and targets are going up to date. And we also updated what was coming up for the next year for that strategy. I also attended Youth Council, which had a really interesting presentation from the YPRL about libraries and engaging young people, and we got some great feedback from our Youth Advisory Committee regarding things that they want to see in their library, like collaboration spaces. They love the charging points, the free Wi-Fi, all the nice nooks, and what a really nice environment the libraries of Nillumbik are for studying and meeting their needs. So that was fantastic. And we also did some planning for our upcoming Youth Summit this year. So that's what's happening with Youth Council.
Excellent. Thank you, Councillor McKay. Any others would like to speak? No, I'll put it to a vote. All in favour? Carried unanimously. Moving on to item 12, officer reports. The next item is December quarter financial report. Do I have a mover for the recommendation? Councillor Cope?
Yep.
Do I have a seconder?
That's me.
Councillor Brooker?
Thank you.
Councillor Cope?
May I make the recommendation that the council receives and notes the financial report for the period ended 31 December 25. The report is per notes. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you like to speak?
Yes, I would. Thank you, Mayor. Some little observations from the report. The council has made very clear its position on the ESVF levy, the old fire services levy rebranded in high vis, as I call it. Look, Nillumbik received, and I know they did it from this report, $110,000 for admin support in collecting the new levy. That was one of the original criticisms, that the government ought to raise the levy through the State Revenue Office rather than the sleight of hand of getting the council to do it, levy collection. Look, this money may or may not be sufficient compensation for us. I do know that to accurately charge the levy to all property owners would have necessitated some software changes at the very least, which are never inexpensive. So $110,000 to collect the levy, but further reading of the report says that the council actually has to pay $46,000 of EVSF levies to the state government on the council properties that we own. So Nillumbik is, like all of our households, are paying additional amounts of money for this levy to the state government, as well as, ironically, collecting it. So, you know, let's just keep the context of the gesture in perspective. The $110,000 is welcome administrative support, but we're also paying, on the other hand, that levy back to the state government. That was all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Brooker. Any other councillors like to speak?
I could speak. just thought I might do a little highlight reel. So to summarise where we're at for the people listening at home. So at mid-year, 31st December, total assets 1.132 billion, total liabilities 55.37 million, and net assets 1.076 billion. Capital work highlights for this financial year include the Hurstbridge Community Shed, Eltham Lower Park Pavilion improvements, Research Preschool extension, Diamond Creek Dog Park upgrade, Eltham Bowls Club LED lighting, Youngs Road upgrade in Yarrambat, and the Diamond Creek Outdoor Pool update. And that's been just shy of $15 million spent this financial year for those great additions to our Shire. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll now put the motion to a vote. All in favour? Carried unanimously. The next item is the Council Plan Quarterly Performance Report, Quarter 2, 2025 to 2026. Do I have a mover?
Yes, thank you. Mayor, I will move that as per the papers.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder?
I'd second that.
Thank you. Councillor McKay, would you like to speak?
Yes, thank you. This is the first quarterly performance report on our 2025-2026 action plan, which aligns to our council plan, which was formulated and endorsed last year. So it's very exciting for us. And this council plan has, as you would have heard before, four strategic themes: inclusive living and participation, livable and connected communities, sustainable futures and healthy environments, and responsible governance and community leadership. And we have 55 actions, of which 35 are to be reported quarterly. And generally, everything is on track. We're just having minor issues with development of the housing strategy, which is on hold due to the state government legislation review, and the progress in planning scheme amendments for the Diamond Creek and Eltham activity structure plans, which is awaiting advice from the Minister for Planning. I just wanted to talk to some highlights. So something relative in all of our wards, but something I hear a lot from is we're looking at the traffic and pedestrian safety audits have now been completed at all primary and secondary schools in the Shire, and we'll be able to develop a priority list of the most important things we need to improve with our safety around schools. And once we've got that priority list, we can work with those schools at most need. And the very exciting implementation of the Council Climate Action Plan continues with our highlight of notification that our $2.5 million federal grant to electrify the Eltham Leisure Centre was successful. So that's very exciting. And I also attended the Community Bushfire Expo to support climate resilient and adaptive safe communities, which is also a great success. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Brooker, would you like to speak?
Yes, I would. Look, to focus on a couple of the R's, roads. In our community surveys, roads and traffic management consistently rank as a #1 issue for residents. Progress made on the road safety strategy, including a Shire-wide pedestrian strategy, is on track, as referenced by Councillor McKay. The council plan will deliver the overarching strategy, and it's possible, not certain, that some of the action items that come from that safe pedestrian strategy may be an upgrade or renewal of some footpaths. So they will be the action items following from the strategy. We'll have to see how that all plays out. You would always like to allocate more funding for footpaths, but you can only do so many things out of many deserving priorities. So this plan is reported frequently, so our particular interests can be referenced regularly. One of the action items was the Community Bushfire Expo under the strategy of climate and building and a more resilient, safe community. So we run the Community Fire Expo. It was a well-planned event. Participation from the CFA, various fire action community groups. They provided their advice and expertise, a good, combination of education and hands-on fun activities. including children unravelling fire hoses with the CFA. It was a good event. Not enough people attended the Fire Expo. So that is always, I think, something to work on when you were putting on these community events. On that climate resilience strategy, we saw 250 kilometres of roadside maintenance and box clearing to support emergency access. So there is a strategy, as I've said, about climate and building a more resilient, safe community, 250 k's of roadside maintenance. That is the action items that really puts the rubber on the road, to continue my roads analogy, for the performance of the council plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Brooker. Would anyone else like to speak? I'll put it to a vote. All in favour? Carried unanimously. The next item is the Health and Wellbeing Plan Quarterly Performance Report. Do I have a mover for the recommendation? Councillor Joy.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to move that Council receives and notes the Health and Wellbeing Plan Quarterly Performance Report for Quarter 1 and 2 for 25-26.
Do I have a seconder?
I'll second that. Thank you.
Councillor Joy, would you like to speak?
Thank you. So this report provides the first progress update on the delivery of Year 1 Action Plan for 25-26 and outlines key achievements across the 2 quarters. So the action plan has 32 actions, and of these, all of them are currently on track for completion by the end of Quarter 4. So for a reminder, the Health and Wellbeing Plan has 6 priority areas. They are improving mental wellbeing and social connection, preventing discrimination and violence, increasing active living, improving food systems, reducing harm from alcohol, drugs, vaping, tobacco and gambling, and advocating for and improving access to services, facilities and housing. So the report details the many highlights. I'll just call out a few in my allocated time. So Council has delivered significant accessibility upgrades across our reserves, trails and play spaces, improving inclusive play with new access paths and enhancing connection and parking to support safer, more inclusive community use. One of my personal favourites, the Ageing Well team and the Edendale Community Farm successfully delivered the NEST program. That's the Nutrition Education Skills Training Program in partnership with OzHarvest. So this equips older residents with practical cooking skills and healthier eating habits, and also provides a meaningful social connection. So this results in significant improvements in both social confidence and cooking confidence and individual nutrition. A couple of others. We've had the successful delivery of the Street Team program, which provides group fitness, another really important aspect of health and wellbeing. So this group fitness provides opportunities directly within our rural communities, and this has over 1,500 participants, which is quite outstanding, I thought. Officers have also developed a program of works to improve road safety via a funding grant from the state government, and these works include minor intersection upgrades and new pedestrian crossings. So again, this is in the interest of walkability and getting out and about on foot in the community. We also opened our first Changing Places facility, which was officially opened, featuring Australia's first collaboratively created public artwork on a Changing Places building. So I'm sure everyone has been out about and having a look at that. It's great. I know Councillor McKay is a big fan. And another highlight, since I have time, is Council also adopted key key planning reforms, including the Eltham Major Activity Centre Amendment and the Nillumbik Planning Scheme Review, and this enables housing growth in well-serviced areas while strengthening strategic planning and neighbourhood character outcomes. So again, focusing on that active community outcome. So overall, it's still very early in the delivery of the health and wellbeing plan, but this report, which the officers have put a great amount of work into and we appreciate, the report demonstrates a strong commencement to the implementation of the one-year action plan with positive outcomes. So thank you to all involved.
Councillor Brooker, would you like to speak?
Thank you. I served on this committee with Councillor Joy in 2025 for its drafting and adoption, and I'll continue to do so in 2026. One of the actions in the council plan is actually to deliver this health and wellbeing plan. To remind people, the committee has a number of expert members who are part of community health groups, mental health groups, leisure facility managers, libraries, etc. Think groups like Healthability, Headspace, disability service providers like Araluen, and that's the flavour of the committee. You do learn a lot about the social determinants of health on this committee, and that's something that I learnt last year. But certainly, so you ventured into that area of healthy food systems, reducing the harm from alcohol, drugs, tobacco. The two areas that I want to mention this evening, improving mental well-being and connection, increase active living. Council is such a critical delivery mechanism for these two areas. By doing small but significant things in that broad space, you can make a real impact in what our survey results tell us are the major issues in our shire. Loneliness across all age groups, not just older residents, but young ones as well. So by executing down at this personal level, we're improving our contentment with our lives, and the people around us are more grounded, they're more connected to their interest groups and more connected to each other. So how do we do it? Councillor Joy has mentioned some of the action items, and it is quite extraordinary to think 1,500 people participating in a street team, active lifestyle program. That's an enormous number. Making the reserves, having that day assessed for walkability is also another really positive thing. I participated, or I volunteered actually, I didn't participate in the Eltham Fun Run, as did a number of other council officers volunteer. 650 participants raised $15,000 for a local charity, the Pat Cronin Foundation. We delivered 1,700 community transport trips. The aged care service navigated that area to over 100 residents. Seniors Festival engaged over 2,000 people. 162 lifelong learning programs were delivered via our 3 living and learning hubs. Various arts participation programs, the Eltham Library Gallery Art program continues, and this is all part of, I think, some fairly moderate resourcing when you think about the totality of council activities. But the health and wellbeing plan with these multiple touch points, I think, pays large dividends when it's coordinated well and when the priorities are identified clearly. Thank you.
Would any other councillors like to speak? I'll put the motion to a vote. All in favour? Carried unanimously. The next item is Local Government Performance Framework, Mid-Year Performance Report, January 2026. Do I have a mover for the recommendation?
I'd like to move that, please, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Brooker.
I would like to move the recommendation as per the papers on the screen.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder?
I can second that.
Thank you, Councillor Mackay. Councillor Brooker, would you like to speak?
Yes, I would. The local government framework. The Know Your Council website is where residents can readily access all this data and with easy comparisons available to other councils. I would say as a library board member, I do want to make a point under the cost of library service per population. We are listed at $46, and that is the per capita price, if you like, which is given an X rating compared to similar councils, which are listed at a figure of $38.95. Well, I think maybe we have better libraries. Maybe we are providing a greater digital reach than some of those other libraries. So this is where I think some interpretation of that data needs to be kind of put into your thinking. At the same time, I think it is worth, as councillors, to look at the reasons why there is that kind of discrepancy between us per capita and delivering that library service to other councils. So that is what the framework does, enables comparisons between councils, which is, I think, a good thing for residents. They can make those adjustments, or they can make those things that are of relevance to them and look them up, and they'll get a metric for them. There's so many other things that are within this framework. Another area that if people are observing closely they'll see is a cross against Nillumbik for the sealed roads area. So the percentage maintained to the condition standard is really a commentary, I think, on how recently the audit has taken place. And Nillumbik's target is, to reach 80 to 100% maintained to the condition standard that we would like. And I think the figure on that report is 77%. It's possible we have higher standards than some other council, and so that gives us some information we need to grade, improve our performance. So it's more likely come to us, I think, why this information is important is a budget request. To meet the standards we've set, we may need to allocate some further funding for it. So that is useful information for us. I have noted previously that satisfaction with our sealed roads was the one area in our community survey that trended sharply downwards at our last survey that was done in February. And this I attributed to the Windy Mile effect, where the state of that road, which is a responsibility of the Victorian government, leached into the mindset of all Nillumbik residents and their attitudes to roads generally. One just last comment on planning applications. It is a particularly, I think, politically sensitive area right now. It's, again, possible that council, on the numbers in this report, has to increase the resourcing in our area. A lot of the government narrative is that we just need to rid ourselves of these troublesome, planning laws and regulations to enable more home construction. Now, that is a completely false narrative, as we know, but I do think by trying to make sure that we meet our standards of planning applications decided within the statutory time, and that would be the best way to shut down that sort of commentary. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor McKay, would you like to speak?
Yes, please. I'll just speak briefly. So I just wanted to summarise this document. It indicates that the council's performing well against the local government report, with 93% of measures either within or exceeding the expected base range, and that 76% of indicators are measuring better performance than those on similar councils. I just wanted to speak to something that I was a bit concerned to read, which is the decreased participation rate in our maternal child health service. And this has been put down to primarily due to parents returning to work earlier following the birth, and also by measure attributed to the cost of living pressures. And I wanted to empathise with this. It's hard to raise a young family with the cost of living pressures and with two people working. And I want to acknowledge it's also difficult to get to these appointments sometimes. But please know that these nurses are flexible and they want to see you and your baby. If you have a 1-year-old and you missed your 8-month-old appointment, that's okay. Book it in anyway. They are a very experienced and valuable resource that the council have, and they're here to assess both you and your baby and to advocate for their care. Sometimes your maternal child health nurse will be the only healthcare worker that you see in those early years, and they are experts in early years, and they're looking for things like growth, nutrition, teeth, hearing, vision, development against your peers as well, your child's peers, I should say. And They're a very important resource and a very valuable resource. And they're also trained not only to assess the babies and the children of Nillumbik, but also the mothers. They're experts in assessing mental health and other health and social issues that go along with this sort of challenging time. So I implore you, get to your appointments if you can. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor McKay. Any other councillors like to speak? I'd just like to point out one measure that I thought was excellent, that council is exceeding the expected range for the following measures, which was the waste diverted from landfill, which was higher than other councils, which I thought was worth pointing out. So that was great. Okay, shall we put this motion to a vote? All in favour? Carried unanimously. Moving on to Nillumbik Shire Council motions to the Australian Local Government Association, the National General Assembly. Can I have a mover for this recommendation?
I'd like to move the motion, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Brooker.
Okay, I would like to move the motion as per the papers on the screen.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder?
Yes, I'll second that. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Brooker, would you like to speak?
Yes, I would. My comments are going to be restricted to motion 3. You can read that in the report. A carbon pricing mechanism with a hypothecated fund directed to local government for emissions reduction projects and policies. Ross Garnow's book, Let's Tax Carbon, is the catalyst for this motion. Garnow was the author of the Rudd government's 2008 Climate Change Review, the nation's first serious response to the issue of climate change. He is an economist and believes that pricing is the most efficient way to address this and other areas. I'm hoping this motion will be the first little spark or ignition point that contributes to a serious public discussion at a national level on this issue. With Garnow applying the rigour from the top down, maybe Nillumbik from the bottom up can evoke a chain reaction that will explode onto a national stage with all local governments embracing a rational, market-driven response. This country has been fighting climate wars for over 2 decades, where policies have been legislated, repealed, packaged, repackaged many times. We have had talk of an emissions trading scheme that cost Malcolm Turnbull his job the first time, then a carbon tax. Tony Abbott won an election on Axe the Tax, which was the end of Julia Gillard's career. We had direct action, generally regarded as the most ineffectual, expensive proposal by the Liberal Party, only surpassed by the nuclear policy of 2025, where pick a number, $50 to $70 billion for clean electricity, minus, of course, the high level of nuclear waste in 20 or 30 years' time. I don't know if we remember the National Energy Guarantee and the Finkel Review that was released by Malcolm Turnbull. One day later, he was looking for work once again. Pricing carbon, making the coal-fired power stations pay for the pollution they are emitting is the only rational way to accelerate a transition to renewables that will make our energy ultimately cheaper, cleaner and more sustainable. Right now, we are paying for our coal-generated electricity without paying for the emissions they generate. That is why coal is cheap and plentiful throughout the world. We are not paying for the carbon. We are not paying for the pollution it generates, thereby it proliferates as an energy source, as do all fossil fuels. What this motion seeks to do is, 1, end the climate wars that has consumed the nation for 2 decades. 2, provide a formula-based fund, so local government, that's us. We are the ones that ironically manage the most infrastructure. Every community hall, every street light, every pool, so thereby we are in the best position to electrify everything. Nillumbik are purchasing renewable energy currently. What we need is additional funding to assist us in the batteries that will make the whole system work better. The motion references electrifying homes as well. I would say this motion, if successful, could it actually pass and be legislated? I think that would be up to the Liberal Party. That party needs to truly embrace its belief in the power of markets, the power of pricing to most efficiently direct investments and resource allocation. It needs, ironically, to fully embrace its own ideological position that market pricing works, that the energy market is not truly pricing energy currently because it is not pricing the carbon or the externalities that exist from generating electricity. That party needs to fully incorporate the values of Milton Friedman when he wants the polluters to pay. The alternative, they are becoming a marginal force in the metropolitan areas of the capital cities. They are losing safe seats to the Seals and marginal seats to the Labor Party. It's time for them to go back to their core fundamentals, to readily align themselves with a changed world, a world with already 1 degree of warming and heading rapidly further up. So I'm hoping this motion will get support from the National General Assembly. After that, maybe the Assembly of 2026, with this motion from Melbourne's smallest metropolitan council, will be the source, the spark that will truly light the nation in clean, green, renewable energy. Wouldn't that be something?
Thank you, Councillor Brooker. Councillor Mackay, would you like to speak?
Yes, thank you. Just briefly, I would like to speak to one of our motions that we're sending to the General Assembly, and that is in regards to motion 1, that we call on the Australian Government to increase grant funding and investment of infrastructure to support the delivery of a national feral deer action plan, which aims to limit the spread of feral deer into new areas and reduce the negative impacts on agricultural communities and the environment. So, feral deer's population are increasing at an alarming rate. They are approximately doubling every 3 years, and without decisive intervention, their spread will result in significant biodiversity loss and widespread ecosystem degradement with erosion and waterways, etc., escalating costs to farmers and land managers, and rising road safety hazards across the region. In Nillumbik, these impacts are already severe. Deer are destroying native vegetation and waterways, displacing threatened species, damaging Indigenous heritage sites, and encroaching on residential areas where they impact backyard gardens and pose major traffic risks. Nillumbik also plays a critical role as Melbourne's peri-urban buffer. Unless contained here, deer populations will inevitably spread into highly urbanised areas with even greater economic, social and safety consequences. So more intensive and ongoing landscape deer control is necessary to protect all of Australia's native biodiversity. And there's an opportunity for the Australian Government to partner with local governments to increase on-ground control efforts. And we should explore opportunities to make deer control commercially viable and self-sustaining in the long term. So we will be very happy to put this motion up and support it. It affects not only us in Nillumbik, but Australia-wide. They're a major feral pest. Not that they're classified as a feral pest, but they are. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillors like to speak? I'll put the motion to a vote. All in favour? Carried unanimously. The next item is Hurstbridge Dog Park upgrade, the final design endorsement. Can I have a mover for this item, please? Councillor Perkins.
Thank you. I'll note that, I'll move that Council notes the changes made to the Hurstbridge Dog Park concept plan and secondly endorses the final concept plan.
Thank you. Can I have a seconder for this item?
I can second that, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Mackay. Councillor Perkins, would you like to speak?
Yeah, look, I'd just like to congratulate our Mayor, Councillor Joyner, or Mayor Joyner, for the work that she's done into getting this final design up to Council for endorsement before going out to actually going out to tender. I think this is the final plan. Look, it looks to be a good one. fingers crossed that the tender comes in within budget. But we'll wait and see what happens there. But it's probably, I think, the best dog park in Nillumbik at the moment. It's certainly a lot larger than the one at Diamond Creek. Importantly, it's got two very large areas. So if there's a requirement for maintenance on only half of the dog park, the other part can still be used rather than close down the whole dog park. So, look, I think people in Nillumbik, as evidenced by the number of pet registrations that we have, dogs are certainly a very important part of people's family. They contribute to health and well-being of everyone, really, not just the people that own the pets, but also those that come across them day to day. So, I think a dog park is a great social place for people and for dogs to meet. And importantly, not everybody has the size of a big backyard like we all had when we grew up. And I think large backyards are diminishing, certainly in Hurstbridge and other urban areas across the Shire, and the need for dog parks is becoming more and more important. So, yeah, certainly very happy to move the motion, and I'm sure Council will support it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Perkins. Councillor Mackay, would you like to speak? No problem. I'd just like to add that I think the regular Hurstbridge Dog Park users will be really happy when this project is delivered. From the community consultation, they were really after shelters and lighting were the main two items that they really said they needed out there, and I think this will deliver it and be a great project for Hurstbridge. So, would any other councillors like to speak? No? Okay, we'll put the motion to a vote. All in favour? Carried unanimously. Next item is the naming proposal for a reserve in John Street, Eltham. Can I have a mover for that, please?
Yes, thank you. I will move this as per the papers, please, Mayor.
Thank you. Can I have a seconder for that? Councillor Joy. Councillor Mackay, would you like to speak?
Yes, I went walking the other day and came across John Street and thought I would go and see this garden. So it took me a while because it's the top of a huge hill. So when I got up there, I sat on the seat in the garden. So I just wanted to speak to this really special space. So it's a reserve that's already known by locals as Gordon Ford Reserve. It's named Gordon Ford Reserve Memorial Park on Google Maps, and council and residents have completed works at this reserve in honour of Gordon Ford since 2021, including said memorial seat in honour of him, landscape and planting. And it's a really delightful space. It's at a dead end, but there's actually a walk through to two other courts, so it's a really nice place to traverse to save you having to walk around a very large block. Yeah, I just enjoyed it thoroughly. So I just wanted to highlight that a lot of work's gone into this in 2022, including community consultation already done and seeking approvals from the Eltham District Historical Society. Thank you, Jim's here tonight. Also Gordon Ford's family members and local residents. And it was agreed that he was worthy of this naming honour, as his work reflects an important portion of local cultural heritage, that Gordon Ford was highly relevant to the area, and he's a person held in strong regard by the local community. And this was delayed a little bit as we were trying to review our outdated place naming policy. I'm going to spend the last, hopefully not 3 minutes, but there's just a really, there's quite a little poetic paragraph about Gordon Ford. So it says, Gordon's gardens were innovative, but always replicated the spirit of the regional Australian natural bush landscape. He created carefully considered outcrops of mossy basalt boulders that projected permanence and ancient timelessness. He used plants of Australian origin that reflected the regional ecology. These elements, often integrated with water, were arranged in a manner that gave an impression that they had always coexisted. In like manner to other recognised Australian creatives who used literature, drama, poetry, music, dance and painting, Gordon's mastery of the Australian bush style became a proclamation of Australia's rising self-confidence in its unique and cultural expression. Gordon's gardens are profoundly beautiful places without appearing contrived or demanding of your attention. They appear to be achieved with a light touch. The settings flow with natural continuity, where borders are undefined and edges are soft. They do magnify your sense of satisfaction and elevate your awareness of the balance in nature and to our responsibility as stewards for our region. Where native birds, insects and fauna can flourish, where the environment can prosper with minimal intervention, and where a visitor can readily acknowledge a sense of region and a sense of place. And it just made me think how I would like to have a garden like this. So, yes, very happy to support this and just acknowledge that many Eltham Gardens probably owe much to his philosophy, and he was a leader in our area. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Joy, would you like to speak? Any other councillors like to speak? We'll put the motion to a vote. All in favour? Carried unanimously. Moving on to Mays Road and Capilli Way, Eltham Special Charge Scheme. Do I have a mover for this item?
Yes, thank you. I can move that, as per the papers, Mayor.
Thank you. And a seconder? Councillor Joy? Councillor McKay, would you like to speak?
Just briefly, that over the last, well, I'll be more specific when I say over the last few years. In 2022, we received a petition for the owners of Mays Road and Capilli Way to look to sealing this road under the special charge. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on what you think, it did not achieve the 60% majority for this. We went then to just offer this to Capilli Way, and that also fell short of the 60% required. So we will abandon further investigation into the special charge scheme for both Mays Road and Capilli Way, and place any further investigation on both schemes on a 3-year moratorium. Yes, that's where that's at.
Thank you. Councillor Joy, would you like to speak? Any other councillors like to speak? Put the motion to a vote. All in favour? Carried unanimously. The next item is the draft terms of reference and proposed EOI process for the Living and Learning Advisory Committee. Can I have a mover for this recommendation?
I would like to move that motion, Mayor.
Councillor Brooker?
I would like to move the motion as per the papers on the screen.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Joy? Councillor Brooker, would you like to speak?
Thank you. Yes, I would. I hope there is a lot of interest in serving on this committee. Neighbourhood houses are the conduits for some of the social connections and active living that I've and myself and Councillor Joy have referred to earlier this evening. So a lot of people who actually don't want to get involved in politics or really involved in the local government, here's a great chance to contribute your ideas, your smarts, your skills to a branch of council that packs I've got a big punch here, possibly not the most suitable analogy, but certainly gets big bang for its dollar. You can have a large impact on this committee in some fairly crucial areas. I make the point that this is a change since my first time as councillor 2016 to 2020. No councillor will participate in the selection panel. Our role is not to have any input into the makeup of the committees, but hopefully when I chair the committee in a way that furthers the direction of living and learning, it will be a valuable experience for everyone, and everyone will enjoy participating in that committee. So spread the word, councillors, other officers, people who happen to be listening. We're having a new go at a new committee, so we're looking for a dynamic committee to get it together and do some good, positive things. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Joy, would you like to speak?
Just quickly. Just to note that along with Councillor Brooker, who will be chair of this committee, I'll be the alternate chair, and I'm very optimistic that after a short hiatus, we will encourage and receive a fabulous amount of applicants to join us, Councillor Brooker, and look forward to working with both the committee once it's formed and Councillor Brooker on living and learning activities for the Shire. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillors like to speak? I'll put the motion to a vote. All in favour? Carried unanimously. The next item is the Environment and Sustainability Advisory Committee, ESAC, renewal of the terms of reference. Can I have a mover for this recommendation, please?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to move that as per the papers.
Thank you. Can I have a seconder for this motion? Councillor Cope? Councillor Mackay, would you like to speak?
Yes, please. I'm delighted to be the chair of the Environmental and Sustainability Advisory Committee, and they have done a mighty job over the 2024 to 2026 term. I should say we only have one meeting left until completion, but they have contributed, considered and weighed into a wide range of matters, including our urban tree canopy strategy, the domestic animal management plan, platypus projects, sustainable transport, wildlife strikes, community carbon emissions, the climate action plan and the biodiversity strategy with its implementation. So they've been extremely valuable. They're an amazing group of people that have a wide range of expertise. So it's a very humbling room to be in from an environmental point of view. So what I would say is those great members, if you'd like to go again, please renew if you can. Call out to the community if you're passionate about the environment and sustainability and you have skills in this area. We'd love to see you apply, and I would just like to finally just thank the current members of the Environmental Sustainability and Advisory Committee. Thank you very much.
Councillor Cope, would you like to speak?
Yes, I may. Yeah. I would like to reflect Councillor Mackay's sentiments. They're a very important committee, as the Advisory Committee on the Sustainability and Environment. The future committee is going to be really important, especially with our pressing climate changes and our environment for the Green Wedge Council. And so it's most important that we get enthusiastic new committee members, and I encourage the general public who are very enthusiastic about our environment and sustainability approach and apply for that committee. A very important council. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillors like to speak? We'll put the motion to a vote. All in favour? Carried unanimously. Moving on to the lease and loan guarantor, North Eltham Wanderers Cricket Club. Do I have a mover for this recommendation? Councillor Joy.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I'd like to move that Council acts as a loan guarantor for North Eltham Wanderers Cricket Club to settle an outstanding contribution to Council for the Pavilion project of 2020. And that Council provides a letter to the bank confirming Council's intention to guarantee the loan to the Wanderers, affixes the common seal of Nillumbik Shire Council to the necessary loan guarantee documents, and notes that any potential future redraw requests may be endorsed through Council resolution. And 2, executes a new lease agreement for its use of the pavilion at Eltham North Reserve.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder for the motion? Councillor Perkins. Councillor Joy, would you like to speak?
Yeah, just a few words, thank you. So just to highlight that the Wanderers Cricket Club is a great club in the Shire. It's a welcoming, family-friendly club with over almost 300 members. So that's male and female cohort, and also junior, senior, and veteran. So the Wanderers use multiple council facilities, actually, not just Eltham North. They do use some of our other ovals, and so this lease and this administrative process that we're going through with the loan guarantor will cover all of that. It's all laid out in the report if anyone is particularly interested. But essentially, the Wanderers have agreed to settle an outstanding contribution to council for the pavilion project of 2020 via a bank loan. And in order for the Wanderers to secure that loan, they require council to act as guarantor and to be provided with a new lease. So I know that there's been a lot of very constructive negotiations between council officers and leadership at the Wanderers Club. And we're really pleased that we've been able to resolve this and we can move forward and continue our positive relationship with the Wanderers. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Perkins, would you like to speak?
Yeah, I support the motion and support what Councillor Joy has said. Officers have worked well with Eltham Wanderers. It's been a challenging time since 2020 in terms of the relationships between council and the Wanderers. They're a good club. They're a great club. They came to council with Redbacks, proposing they wanted new facilities. Council wasn't in a financial position to be able to build those facilities or even really contribute to a possible grant to build those facilities. So there was an offer for some monies. That really did move the project right up the top of the list. The amount of money that, and I think it's well known, it's on public record, the amount of money that the North Wanderers Cricket Club offered to contribute to the whole project was $250,000, $250,000. Significant amount of money. It got the project rolling. Since then, they've had trouble with repaying all that money, and now council has, or hopefully will, agreed to guarantee a loan so they can repay outstanding items. This is not new. This happens quite routinely. In terms of council supporting community groups and sporting clubs in terms of guaranteeing a loan if they can demonstrate to the bank that they can service the loan. I think it is a good move for council to be able to support that club in guaranteeing a loan as long as they meet the repayments. So that's where we are now, and in conjunction with this, we're also executing a new lease agreement that very favourable terms as are for all sporting clubs across the Shire, effectively peppercorn rent and a 9.5-year lease term. So it's a good outcome for the club. I think it's a good outcome for the community. 300 people who play cricket across 2 sports grounds, I think, a pavilion and 2 other sports grounds. So this certainly helps them out, and we look forward to working with the North Eltham Wanderers Cricket Club into the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillors who'd like to speak? I'll put the motion to a vote. All in favour? Carried unanimously. The next item is the tender report contract 2526-024 on the vendor neutral panel for contingent labour. Can I have a mover for this item, please?
I'd like to move the motion as per the papers on the screen, Mayor.
Thank you. Can I have a seconder, please?
Second, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Coate. Councillor Brooker, would you like to speak?
Look, this is a tender procurement. This is done by Procurement Australia, which we utilise sometimes for these kind of large contracts. It's really just designed so we get best value for money. I think looking at the tender, we have done that. So I support the tender and the successful tenderer going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Coate, would you like to speak? Any other councillors like to speak? I'll put the motion to a vote. All in favour? Carried unanimously. The next item is the informal...
Okay, so now we've awarded the tender. I can say that council accepts the tender submitted by the preferred tenderer, Conmensora Proprietary Limited for the schedule of rates disclosed in attachment 1 and enter into the following contract. And the rest is as per the papers. So congratulations to Conmensora Proprietary Limited for being our supplier of contingent labour. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Brooker. Moving to the next item is informal meeting of councillors' records, 24 February 2026. Can I have a mover for this item? Councillor Perkins.
I move that Council, in accordance with item 20 of Council's Governance Rule Meeting Procedures, receives the informal meetings of Council's records as per attachment 1 for the meetings held.
Thank you. Can I have a seconder? Councillor Brooker. Councillor Perkins, would you like to speak?
Yeah, so just quickly, this report lists the informal meetings of Council's records submitted since the matter was last reported to Council on the 9th of December 2025. There's a total of 13 meetings listed in the report. Yeah, that'll do. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Brooker, would you like to speak?
Yes, I would. I attended the 2nd of February Youth Council meeting. It was the first time I'd attended that meeting. Councillor McKay, I think, was at an audit report, an audit meeting of the council, so I had to sub in. But I would say the Youth Mayor, Talia Edmonds, chaired that meeting, and it was delightful to see council giving some leadership opportunities to young people that was taken up so well and so competently. There was a presentation from the Nillumbik Historical Society, and it was interesting to observe that the woos and wows around the room as the various photos of Old Eltham were put up on the screen, and the genuine the Eltham District Historical Society. Okay, did I say Nillumbik? Oh, what a faux pas! That is just terrible. Apologies. Okay, I've got Eltham down here. Okay, the Eltham District Historical Society presented at the Youth Council, and it was a very well received report, which is really my central message. So the young people in the room really, and it was interesting to observe them really kind of find it intriguing, the maps and the modern buildings superimposed, be they Bunnings, be they the Sports and Leisure Centre, the Alistair Knox Park, the main street, all those things. So it was a well-received contribution, and I think the takeout was at the end of it that at future Youth Council meetings to have the Eltham District Historical Society present... No. Thank you. The Eltham District Historical Society present at the Youth Council. That would go down very well. Thank you.
Thank you. Right. Does any other councillor like to speak? No? We'll put the motion to a vote. All in favour? Carried unanimously. Moving on to notices of motion. Councillor Brooker, would you like to move the recommendation of vandalism of war memorials?
Yes, I would, Mayor. Look, I think I should read this out. The motion is that Council 1 acknowledges and commends the immediate response of council officers in cleaning and restoring the Eltham Cenotaph following the recent vandalism. 2, reaffirms council's strong condemnation of vandalism of war memorials, plaques and statues, reinforces council's commitment to ensuring that when vandalism occurs on these assets, they continue to be repaired and reinstated as quickly as possible. 3, reaffirms council's commitment to supporting Victoria Police, including through information sharing and cooperation, and notes that where offenders are identified and convicted, council will seek compensation. I think that is meant to read.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder for the motion?
Yes, I will second that.
Thank you. Councillor Brooker, would you like to speak?
Thank you, Mayor. Look, firstly, I want to direct people to the Montmorency Eltham RSL social media page. There is a message from Ash Graham, the president of the Monty Eltham RSL. I have not met Ash Graham, but having read his message and the very thoughtful, measured and respectful response, I understand why he is the president. He actually states his response from the RSL will not be distracted by division or anger, but will refocus, emphasis refocus on remembrance. To that end, the 38 names from the Eltham area that are recorded on the cenotaph are being remembered at 6 p.m. each evening, and their stories are on their social media page, and it is a very moving experience to read these extraordinary stories. I don't have time to recount them all here, but so many young men attended places like Eltham Primary School, Research Primary School, places we are all so familiar with. I, like the Monty Eltham RSL, also acknowledged the immediate response of the council to remove the spray paint from the memorial. The actions of using sledgehammers to damage some names and plaques will be a longer-term project. As I think about Ash Graham's words and refocus on remembrance and not be distracted by anger, although anger we may feel, I want to focus on that other far end of the human emotional spectrum, love. For those 38 names recorded on the Eltham cenotaph are a love story. Love of community, love of country, love of their fellow soldiers. We have all visited the Shrine of Remembrance in the city, and Ash Graham's focus on that reminded me of the words written inset into the floor, "Greater love hath no man." And when we know the building that is designed so on Remembrance Day at 11 a.m, the light passes through the aperture to illuminate the word love on the stone. I've had a very fortunate life, as have most of us in this room. We have known the love of a beautiful man or a beautiful woman. We may have experienced the love of our children and have had that love returned to us, and then return that love to them to the limits of our capacity. The 38 names recorded at the Eltham cenotaph, most likely very young men, never had that experience. I'm sure they knew the love of their parents, but all of those vivid emotional aspects of the human condition, they most likely never experienced. And so remembrance is how we honour and respect their sacrifice. To vandalise the cenotaph, to spray it with red paint, is to vandalise a love story. I can't think of anything more cruel than that. To the perpetrators of the vandalism, I just call out to you to reflect deeply on how cruel your actions were, and to remind you, we will not be consumed with anger. We will celebrate and remember those 38 names, and we will celebrate love. Be thankful for our own love stories, and be thankful for the 38 names on the Eltham cenotaph that enabled us to experience it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Brooker. Well done. Councillor McKay, would you like to speak?
I'm not sure I can follow that, but I would just echo your sentiment, and thank you for putting up as a notice of motion.
Any other councillors like to speak? I'll put this motion to a vote. All in favour? Carried unanimously. Next, we have delegates' reports. Councillor McKay, you'd like to?
Yes, I'd like to report on a great community event that myself and Mayor Joyner were delighted to attend. We attended Nillumbik's inaugural Iftar, which is a celebration of breaking the fast during the month of Ramadan. This is proudly supported by Nillumbik Community Grant and organised by Salam Fest. And thank you to organisers Aisha and Amna. We had a great night of community activities, a delicious meal, a call to prayer, and a panel discussion about what Ramadan means to people of Muslim faith. Fasting during Ramadan means no food or water during sunrise to sunset. It's a time for reflection, resilience, and digging deep through your own discomfort to gain empathy for others during a difficult time. We were pleased to receive a gift, a piece of art stenciled from a local artist, and the art says Salam Nillumbik, which translates to Blessed Nillumbik. So I just wanted to say Ramadan Mubarak to our Muslim residents of Nillumbik, and thank you for having us.
Thank you, Councillor McCain. Was there anyone else with the delegate report? No? Okay. There's no supplementary or urgent business. There's no confidential reports. So I will close the meeting. Thank you, everyone. That concludes our meeting for tonight. I declare the meeting closed at 8:25. Thank you.